Sziasztok! Now that we covered most of the day-to-day Hungarian that you can use as a beginner, like going to a cafe or going to a supermarket, alphabet, feelings, numbers, and so on, we are going to steer towards grammar a little bit. And today we are going to talk about the verb van, right? Which means be. Now you might know that actually the word van can mean a few things. Besides meaning is, it also means to have something. You can also use it as a there is or there are. So it's a little bit complex. Today we are only going to talk about it as in the I am, you are, he is, she is. Okay, so I have a nice worksheet for us, and hopefully after you watch this video, you will understand how to use one or how not to use one. Okay, so first the title is Lenni, vagy nem lenni, taken from Shakespeare. Always means to be or not to be. Okay, now if you look at it, right, you probably at one point you learned the subject pronouns, right? I, in, te, you, he, she. There is no, there is no gender for it. And then there's this okay, as you can see, it's written with capital now this is the formal you, okay? So obviously in Hungarian you can also be formal. And this works that even though you are talking to a person, like I'm talking to you, but if I want to be polite, I have to use the third person conjugation. So instead of saying like, are you, I don't know, are you Spanish? I'm gonna ask like, is she Spanish? Okay. And then there is the me, which is we, ti, you guys, and then ők is they, and again, önök with the capital is the formal you guys. Okay, so if I want to be formal to a group of people, I can, instead of asking ti spanyolok vagytok, I can ask önök spanyolok, like are they Spanish? Okay. Now, the conjugation, as you can see, in every subject is different, right? So vagyok, vagy, then we have van and nincs, the opposite, the isn't. Vagyunk, vagytok, and vannak, and nincsenek. Okay, sorry, that's actually a mistake. That should say nincsenek. Okay. Now, for the I, you, we, and you guys, it's usually fairly simple. You always use vagyok. So basically, use it the same as you would use it in English, okay? Like if I say I am Hungarian, then it's magyar vagyok. I am in the store, a boltban vagyok. Okay? But when it gets really difficult is the he, she, and the they, okay? And you can see that one and inch is in brackets because unfortunately we don't use it every time. Okay, so first let's take a look at the sentences, and after we go through this, I think you will understand it a lot better. Okay, so the first says, tanár vagyok, right? Tanár vagyok. Tanár, teacher, vagyok, I am, right? So it literally says, teacher, I am. Now let's go through. What do you see about the subject pronoun with the én, te, ő, mi, ti, ők? Okay, well, you should see, and hopefully you saw, that it actually is not in the sentence, right? So there is no subject. No subject. Then first yes, there is no subject, and then the verb is at the end of the sentence. Okay, good. Now you might wonder, why is there no subject? Why don't I say én tanár vagyok? Okay, the reason is because the verb one is conjugated differently in every case, I don't have to say én, right? Because vagyok can only refer to me. So that's why in many, especially positive sentences, we don't use the én, te, ő, mi, ti. Well, the ő, actually, we use it more often, but the én, te, and mi, ti, we don't really use it. It is a little bit different when you're having, a conversation or you're answering a question. It's often, when somebody's talking to you about themselves, and let's say they say, oh, I am an engineer, and mérnök vagyok, and then I want to say, oh, I am a teacher, then I would probably use, oh, én tanár vagyok. But most of the time you don't need the subject. Okay, now what about the second? Okay, just try to read it. Okay. Német vagy. Német vagy. Okay, what do we see again? No subject, same thing. Verb is at the end. Okay. Now what about the next one? Okay. Nem vagyok mérges. Nem vagyok mérges. Okay. Do you remember the word mérges? We learned it when we learned about feelings. Angry, angry. So I'm not angry, right? We had the nem. Right after that, we have the verb. And then the rest of the sentence. Okay, again, no subject. Now four. Lilla edző. Lilla edző. Okay, edző is a coach. Okay, so we want to say Lilla is a coach. Okay, now what do we see? Is there a subject? Yes, there is. Okay, now it's Lilla. Okay, so she's the subject. Okay, and then we have edző, but what happens with one? What do you think? Yes, so the word one is actually not in the sentence, but it's still a correct sentence. Okay, so in English, this would literally just be Lilla coach, right? So, at this point, everyone wonders, so where is the is? You write like almost in every language. In order to make a proper sentence, you need two things. Okay, one is the subject and the other one is the verb. But not in Hungarian, okay? So basically, you don't have to use the word van or nincs or vannak or nincsenek with he, she, and they if what you refer to is either a noun or an adjective, okay? So coach, that's a noun. Okay, so we don't have to use the word not one. Okay, for example, if I say Lila is very beautiful, okay, ez a gyönyörű. Okay, then again, same thing. Lila edző, okay, és Lila gyönyörű. Okay, so again, I'm gonna say it again because I know it's difficult. So if you want to use the verb is, okay, or the they are, with either a noun or an adjective, you don't have to use it, okay? But also another way to think of it, if you look at number 5, Lilla most Olaszországban van. Okay, Olaszország is Italy. So Lilla now in Italy she is, right? That's what we're basically saying. So again, we have a subject. Okay, and now as you can see, we are talking about her location. Okay, and with the location, we always need the one. Okay, so location, Olaszországban, okay, plus one. Okay, so again, just to recap, one and vannak, okay, we use it, okay, with location, okay, and a couple of some other expressions, especially to do with time and dates or weather. For example, ma meleg van, okay, then we use it. But again, try not to use it with nouns and adjectives. Okay. Good. Okay. 6. Hot. Hol vagy? Hol vagy? Right? Hol is where, vagy you are. So again, it's where are you? Okay. So we have a question word plus a verb. Again, no nincs te. Right? There is no te is not in the sentence because again, vagy can only be you. Okay. 7. Miért nem vagy éhes? Miért nem vagy éhes? Okay? Éhes, do you remember? Hungry, okay? So why aren't you hungry? Okay, first we had a question word, and then we had nem, and then we have the verb, and then the adjective. Okay, now it's important to know that in Hungary we love negative questions, okay? Again, maybe our language, kind of reflects our personality sometimes because they always say that Hungarians are very negative and pessimistic. But yeah, especially with yes, no questions, if I say like, do you want to go to the cinema? It's most likely that someone would ask you like, don't you want to go to the cinema? Aren't you hungry? Isn't this a beautiful day? And so on. Okay, so if you see negative questions, just know it's something that we love to use. Okay, all right, 8. Nyugdíjas, nyugdíjas. Okay, nyugdíjas is retired. Okay, so you can see this right? So now I'm being formal, okay? So if I meet an elderly person and I want to ask if they are retired, I would again ask, is she retired instead of are you retired? Okay, same thing. Again, nyugdíjas, retired is a noun, so no need for one. And 9, ők orvosok, So ők is they, orvos is a doctor, so they are doctors, okay? Same thing, orvos is a noun, no need for vannak, okay? This okon orvosok, it's the plural, okay, which we haven't learned yet. I'll probably do a video on it later. Okay, and the last one is ma hétfő van. Ma hétfő van. Ma, today. Hétfő is Monday. So today is Monday. Okay, so even though the subject is ma, which is it, basically, I mean, that would be in English. We don't really have it in Hungarian. As you can see, it's one of those expressions. Again, it's usually about the date, usually about a time, temperature, and jól and rosszul, actually. You also have to say jól van and rosszul van. Okay, super. Okay, I'm gonna have to clear this. Okay, and then here it says the rules. So again, I, you, we, and you guys, it's really exactly the same as in English, okay? Or we would use it like that. But vannak, nincsenek. I'll just write it again. The more, the better. Okay, so use it with someone's or their location. Okay, például a kutyám a szobában van. Okay, vagy a kutyák a parkban vannak. Okay, and then we also use it with some fixed expressions, and that's gonna be usually about days, months, date, temperature, jól és rosszul. Oké, ma hétfő van, hol ma meleg van, ma nem tudom, július 10-e van, A kutyám jól van. Okay. Good. Okay, I know it can be a bit difficult until I mean, yeah, it's just automatically you want to you go for the subject and the verb, and then, you see very often we don't have at least one of those in the sentence. Okay, and then again, try, actually, I put it, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put it here. Try not to use it with nouns and adjectives. Okay. A kutyám fekete. Okay, that's it. So fekete is an adjective. No need to say a kutyám fekete van. Okay. Az anyukám orvos. That's it. Okay, just let me give you a plural. A gyerekek éhesek. Okay, so the children are hungry. Again, you don't need to say vannak. Okay. Good. So this is probably the most important part of the class, but let's take a look at the others too. Now, align means the subject. Okay. So you often don't use the subject with I, you, we, and you guys. Okay. So the in, te, me, and ti. Okay. But you usually use the subject with he, she, and they. Okay, ő and ők. And also the formal, so ön and önök. Okay, the reason for this, because even if we didn't use the ö and the ők, it could be that the entire sentence is just one word. Like if I say Lilla edző, and I just say edző. Okay, it's just you need something. So usually with én, te, miti, again, you no need to put the subject in it, but with the others, if you just try to put it in there. Okay. Now let's take so ige is a verb. So what happens with a verb in a positive sentence? Okay, so when we are not asking a question or we are not saying a negative sentence,